I'll move ahead. So what we understood is about project and then 5 process groups of the project. Okay, today we'll go further. We will try to understand what is mean by knowledge areas and all other things, which is little ahead of this. So today we exactly know the way that the project goes. Okay, so we have different 5 phases in which we have different documents to be prepared. This every document has got relevance. It has got templates. So based on that, as much detailing as we document, it's good for everybody. So anybody and everybody can really participate wholeheartedly. They will have high visibility because they exactly know what needs to be done, how it will be done, who will do, what is our responsibility, what is our accountability, and everything is been documented well. End of this module, what I want to learn, one is explain the project life cycle. You should be able to explain the project life cycle. Describe the project management 10 knowledge areas, which is something which we will learn today, and explain the project knowledge areas and their mapping to process groups. So we have already seen 5 process groups. Okay. So now we will see how these knowledge areas and the process groups really, match to each other. There are different books, and they go on refining, as we said, that as you learn the project. Now earlier what you see something which is monitoring and control kind of a process. Okay, after implementation, now it is split into two. One is monitoring, another one is adapting. So instead of 5, now it is 6 processes. Why it is done? Because it is not only controlling. Sometimes you're not controlling because you find it there is a variance. Sometimes you accept it because that's the way that the situation is changed, and that is known as adoption. So we are not doing correction, we are doing adoption. What is monitor and control? Suppose we say that you have a budget of 10,000 rupees for the shopping today, and then suppose you exceed the budget or you are likely to exceed, we can actually tell you that it's okay, you can go up 10% more, but not more than that. What is that? That is monitoring and control. So I actually define something and I do it. But suppose we decide that we want to go and find these 5 things which we have really understood, but because of whatever reason, because of lockdown or because of whatever reason, these 5 things have become expensive. So we want to do the same recipe, we want to get a same ingredient, but unfortunately because of lockdown or because of transport or because of issues today, they are expensive. Now what you need to do? Here you cannot do just a control. You cannot go and tell the guy that look, these items were at 10 rupees and now you're talking about 20 rupees. It doesn't make sense. Logically, he said, I'm sorry, ma'am, but that's the way it is, because today they are in a shortage community and scarce community. I can't really reduce the price part of it. Now you'll have to take this and adapt this into your model. So that's a phase of adoption which is really added into that. Rest all I will not discuss because we already discussed onto this. Now let us understand this. This is very simple in understanding, but very important to understand how the project works. So first is what? It's an initiation. Okay. When initiation is completed, we start showing it to the end customer or sponsor or funding agencies, and as by the time they approve, that is a cycle which actually goes when initiation goes down and then it starts going up. During that time, what I'm doing? Once the initiation is approved, actually I start doing planning. When I start doing planning, I also start working on to implementation ideas. End of the planning, technically end of the planning, I start doing implementation. During the implementation, I also monitor whether it is going as per our plan and schedule or it is going out of our plan of schedule. So level is, what is the level of axis below, that is x-axis is time. And what is the y-axis? Level of efforts. So initiation requires less amount of efforts because there are less number of people. Planning requires little more number of people. Monitoring requires even lesser number of people. But implementation requires a large number of projects. For example, so let's take the same example, like Preparing a project for metro in Mumbai, initiation might have taken some say 200 people. Then planning must have taken by some 400 people or 500 people. Implementation take must have done by some 10,000 people. Monitoring must be done by say another 100 people, whether it is working or not. And after the project is over, the closure will be seen by some 50, 100 people. Because that's the level of efforts really start reducing by people, because that's an energy which is required, that's a manpower which is required, that's a skill sets and skilled manpower which we really require. And that's the reason these are called as a project phases. Now this is little explanation, so I avoided it earlier, but here we can just go one by one quickly and understand. Here we are saying from concept to a prototype. What is mean by initial phase? Concept to prototype. Okay, that is mean what? If I go and tell them that, look, I have a great concept, will funding company will come forward and do the funding? No, they will say, show me something. Maybe a small model, maybe a small experiment, maybe a small prototype, maybe a proof of concept, so that I understand that this project is doable, it is realistic, and it can really work wherever it is possible. There might be some projects where it is not possible. So then we have to do it, conceptualize, and probably convince the end customer that you will have to do this kind of things. But this is important. So this is a phase where we will create all-out efforts. We will do our all-out efforts to ensure that the funding agencies, okay, the project people who authorize projects, okay, or sponsor projects, will get convinced that this project idea has a potential to grow, and we must do that. Okay, means that anytime if my idea is been approved, then people say it's okay, so our idea is good, but so what is the cost? Like somebody must have pushed that metro or project to Mumbai, that so many people travel. If we make metro, then life will be easier, and then life will be better. It will not disturb you or anything, and XYZ, blah blah blah. So the authorities might be saying it's okay, we understand and we appreciate that Bombay needs a metro. Now my next question is, how much time will it take? How much efforts it will take? What amount of money it will take? So some idea. So we cannot give all the idea because we are not done detailing yet. But we cannot say that we will do detailing and let the whatever money comes in that you pay. Nobody will pay that project. So we'll have to give some ballpark figure so that people understand it's okay. So will it take 5,000 crore and the ROI is in 4 years? ROI is return on investment. So if we invest that money, how much time will it take to come back? Okay, so we will have to give these estimation, which may change by some percentage, but not very high, but it may. So this is something which is estimating to clarify objective and scope. Okay, a lot of time when I define scope, government may increase. Let me give you example. There were project in Gujarat which was done when Narendra Modi was chief minister of Gujarat. That time they said we want Air Deccan kind of airline which is low cost, no flare, so no hanky-fanky business, no food or something, but short distance like 35 minutes or 1 hour, not more than that. Within the Gujarat, we wanted to run on, something what is known as a low-cost airline. So idea was brilliant, and then the Air Deccan guy, Captain Gopinath was, the really excited about it. But he had a question. He said, "Sir, we can start this, but how you ensure that there are enough people to fly between these cities, and they will use aircrafts?" So this was a real question. So government what say? They define the scope. Okay, they define the objective. How they define? They said every government employee of Gujarat government will fly between cities. So you have a captive customer, which is all the government employee of whatever class 1, class super class or senior management, so that you have some volume which is guaranteed to you. So sometimes, if we define some scope, people may change the scope and make the project more viable rather than, going just by our own calculation. So this makes a lot of sense when it comes to. Now, what are the major steps included? They are very logical, self-explanatory, but we'll just browse through. First is project concept. Okay. So we have a concept, like we want to build a metro line in Pune. Then we have a concept approval. So we convince them, so many people will travel, their travel time will be saved, the environmental will be saved, the petrol charges will be saved, vehicles on the road will be reduced, and so on and so forth, and everything. And it will be world class, this will become attraction, X, Y, Z. Then concept is approved. Okay, there is no harm in thinking about, we starting project of metro in Bombay. Then we have something which is known as project approval. So project approval is, okay, so we want to do it this kind of project. So now you send me a proposal. So suppose you want to do this project, what is the timeline, efforts, money, everything you require from us? And that is called as a proposal. So you propose me what all you want so that we can look at to that in detail, study, understand, and then take a final call. So then we have a proposal approval. So once we have a proposal approval, that time approval doesn't happen easily because you propose something. So we will also try to find out, can we reduce the cost? Can we reduce the time? Can we reduce the responsibility? How we can really work onto this so that, the total project cost is significantly low. So that we call as a project negotiation. So you said it will take, 4 years. Then I will try to push you saying that do it in 3 years because the cost will really come down, if not by 25%, but at least by 15%. Because salary cost will come down, other costs will come down. But then that, other project managers or project executors has to convince me that it may not be a good idea to reduce it or whatever it is. So that we call as a project negotiation. After the negotiation is done, the modalities have been frozen, the time, efforts, money, budget, everything is frozen. Then we have a project contract. Okay. Then we do a contract. Okay, you are supposed to execute this project in this timeline, in this budget, or this using this technology, or using these tools, or keeping these parameters. All this is known as a part of contract. So the contract will be done and will be signed by the authority who want to authorize your project. Then we have planning phase. What happens in the planning phase, which actually talks of nuts and bolts. Okay, that how many teams will be required, how many supervisors will be required, how many engineers will be required, how many architects will be required, how many laborers will be required, how many machinery operators will be required, when they will require, what they will do, how much time they will be required. All this is something which is known as a development of detailed plan. So detailed plan is built for raw material, detailed plan is built for skilled workers, detailed plan is done for everything which is required to complete the project. And this is what we call it as a planning phase. So why it is important? Because this will actually create something what is known as a work breakdown structure. That means work breakdown structure means we know the overall event. Let me take some examples. Suppose I have a wedding of my sister. So I'm responsible for it. So does that mean that I do each and everything? What preparations which I need to do? No, I don't do it. I call my few friends, few relatives whom I can rely, and I actually give them a responsibility for different parts with a complete clarity. This is something which you will handle transportation, you will handle lodging, boarding, you will handle catering, you will handle hall booking, you will handle invitation, you will handle VIP, and all that is that. What is that? That is detailed planning being done. Then I may sit with everybody to tell them how many people are going to come, how you want to do that, which restaurant you have to book, and so that's a detailed planning. So this gives them a complete work list which they are supposed to do, which the work list which we are to-do list which we call it as is popularly known as work breakdown structure. That is WBS. So now once I speak to all of them, everybody knows that during the event of my sister's marriage, everybody is responsible for what, they are going to do what, when, how, all is been discussed, and they are now geared up and they are ready for doing that kind of work. Now what happens in the planning phase? Project charter. So we have to first define what is that project needs. Is it a, it's a wedding, so you cannot, you don't have a choice of deciding the moving of the date कि नहीं planning नहीं हो रहा है तो date आगे चलते हैं, तो ऐसा possible नहीं है ना. So you have to, date is fixed, time is fixed, so everything has to work accordingly. So all that's something which you need to really define. What is the date, time, what are the clear objectives defined, that's a project character. Then we are talking about organized project team. That means, as I told you, I get few friends and my relatives or somebody whom I can trust, and I can give them a responsibility and accountability. I can probably indicate them the funds which they are going to get so that they can start working onto it. And then once this is all done, they all have done their homework, they come back to me and discuss and said, Dilip, we are absolutely ready, go ahead, and this is my game plan, this is the way I'm going to do that. So then I know exactly how the project is going to unfold, who is going to do what, how much money, and everything is I'm aware. Then I can do the project kickoff. That means I officially announce that the project is started today. Okay, so as far as the date and timeline schedules are concerned. Then we have project management plans. Now the moment project starts and kicks off, everybody who in my project team will start working in their own respective areas. Now I have plans for every area, so I need to verify whether it is going as per the plan, whether even they will do some plan and they will submit it to me. This is the way I'm going to do that. These are the receipt which are hotel I have booked. This is the transport logistic. These are the train numbers. These are the flight numbers where they are going to come, and these are the pickup vehicles which I have already organized. I'm combining them, and all this is what is known as a project plan. Once I approve this project plan, that means I'm supposed to, now responsibility of me, that whatever resources they have asked me, whether it is money or whether it is vehicles or whether it is booking or whether it is people, I'm supposed to provide them. So that's a project plan approval. And the last is communication plan. What is communication plan? I will tell them that, boss, every day, evening, 9 o'clock, maybe somebody I'll tell 7 o'clock, somebody I'll tell 8 o'clock, somebody I'll tell 9 o'clock, call me up and tell me what happened in a day. How you are doing? Are you doing good? Are you as per the plan? Or you have some new issues? Or you have some challenges? Or you have some surprises? So let me know. On the other hand, if I found that somebody is dependent on somebody has changed his schedule for the flight. Now, suppose he informed me, but then it doesn't make sense to me because I have to inform it to the guy who is going to handle logistics so that he send the vehicle at appropriate flight number. I also have to send it somebody with a, who is going to arrange the lodging and boarding. And so, all this is need a good communication plan. So something is proactively, something is trigger based, something is, immediate or random. So all this communication plan, the method, maybe a code word, or maybe something which I need to really decide and probably do it.